Welcome to Comics Throne, where we share the amazing stories of your favorite superheroes. Today, we're delving into the universes of DC's Batman has been featured in countless comics since his debut in 1939. With all those stories, it's not surprising even some great ones have been forgotten. Batman has a long history of interesting and unique stories at DC that often don't get the recognition or acclaim that they deserve from both readers and critics. In fact, some of these stories, despite great execution, don't even manage to get a reprint from DC Comics, despite readers calling for more of these books to come back into print. A number of factors have left even some brilliant Batman stories to languish in obscurity. Considering the sheer volume of stories he's featured in, it's natural that even otherwise good Batman comics haven't maintained success in the modern era. While there's a Batman comic for everyone, and most modern stories remain accessible, a time flooded with events and a history of key series has made it easy for stories to fall through the cracks. Batman's back issues can always use a fresh look, and some forgotten tales prove it. 10. Shazam, Dard 12. Jeff Loveness and Brandon Peterson. Jeff Johns, 2019. Shazam series was full of great stories, but the Jeff Loveness guest writing spot in issue Towering 12 proved to be one of the better ones. The unofficial World's Finest story saw Shazam make his way into Gotham City, where he was exposed to Scarecrow's fear toxin. Batman and Shazam teamed up together to take on the villain together, as they both dealt with the fear brought on by the toxin. The issue was a standout in the series, as well as a testament to Loveness's writing quality, but it generally went overlooked, despite Johns' attachment to the series. 9. Detective Comics 235. Detective Comics 235 was a Golden Age story that is significant for two reasons. Not only did the story reveal the original inspiration for Bruce's Batman persona, but it's also the first time Thomas Wayne became Batman, before Flashpoint. Like many Golden Age adventures, the story became part of Earth 2 canon and inconsequential to the main Prime Earth Bruce. The story, known as The First Batman, was a great way of explaining Bruce's choice of costume while keeping it both personal to him and related to his own origins. Seeing Thomas Wayne established as the original Batman made for a great story and makes his current stories all the more enjoyable. 8. The Batman's Grave. Despite having a fantastic detective-based story, Batman's Grave suffered from two different problems that occurred almost simultaneously. The series was struck, like the rest of the industry, in 2020 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, it also suffered from its creator, Warren Ellis, falling into disrepute. The Batman's Grave, despite actually having its first issue released in 2019, didn't conclude until 2021 due to the delays. What could have gone down as one of the hero's definitive detective tales, and still somewhat is that, had the odds stacked against it. And it has gone down as a forgettable maxi series in a saturated market. 7. Batman vs. the Incredible Hulk. Batman has had many crossovers and grudge matches with both DC heroes and the flagship characters of other companies. In fact, DC and Marvel themselves had some great crossovers. Perhaps because of the frankly bizarre matchup between Batman and Hulk, their shared comic is arguably the least remembered of the big two's crossovers. Predictably, Batman vs. the Incredible Hulk was a tale of two heroes beginning at odds, only to team up after settling their differences, in this case, to fight Joker. However, the story remains incredibly hard to find on the back issue market due to how seldom those stories have been reprinted. 6. Kevin Smith's Batman. Kevin Smith has written several comics for DC, such as Green Arrow and Batman 66 meets Green Hornet, both of which are quite well regarded. However, his Elseworlds Batman miniseries just haven't endured with mainstream Batman fans and were always made more for Smith's fans than the hero's fans. Stories like Cacophony and The Widening Gyre have fallen into obscurity for the company, although some do recall key moments from them like Joker blowing up a hospital. These stories were by no means bad reads, but they haven't been able to stay relevant for the hero's fans. 5. Stan Lee's Just Imagine Batman. While many readers are vaguely aware of the fact Stan Lee wrote a Batman comic in the early 2000s, the odds of finding a DC fan who's actually read it are slim. Lee reimagined Batman as a black man named Wayne Washington, who was sent to prison for a crime he didn't commit, and emerged in peak physical condition and a mind for revenge. Just Imagine Batman applied Lee's Marvel method of character creation to the Caped Crusader. with Wayne donning a unique bat wrestler costume to exact justice. However, it hasn't really lasted in the minds of readers, especially since DC hasn't done anything with him since Lee's original stories. 4. The Dark Knight, 2010. The 2010 miniseries, The Dark Knight, had the unfortunate timing of being released right in between the demise of the post-crisis DC era and the birth of the New 52. The story follows Batman in a supernatural mystery case, with Etrigan and Ragman presenting some unexpected threats to the Caped Crusader. The relative obscurity of the miniseries is surprising, considering the fact it's actually one of the better miniseries for the hero and had names like David Finch and Jason Fabok attached. Likely to fit in with the New 52, the series originally teased to be 6 issues was shortened to 5, the continuity erased, and the tale forgotten. 3 First Waves Batman, Doc Savage. First Wave was a great idea at DC that could have used better execution and timing for the company. It began with a crossover between Batman and Doc Savage, moving into a mini-shared universe dedicated to pulp fiction and included Batman, Savage, and Will Eisner's Spirit. The core First Wave miniseries had the trio of pulpy heroes team up on an adventure, but something about it just didn't work. The story resurrected a mostly obscure pulp hero in Savage and had him team up with heroes who didn't really fit one another's styles. Both Savage and the Spirit actually had better stories in their solo books than they did with Batman. 2 Scratch. As much as he may be known for fighting mob bosses and colorful supervillains, Batman has a rich history of fighting mythical creatures of the night. In Sam Keith's Scratch, he encountered a werewolf who had been blamed for the disappearances of children in a classic creature feature showdown. Many stories have done a better job of having Batman fight werewolves, like Batman vs. Bigby and a BTAS episode. Perhaps due to Keith's acquired taste in art style, the removal from any main universe events, or the absence of classic Batman villains, the miniseries just doesn't get the recognition it deserves. 1 Matt Wagner's Batman. Matt Wagner has long been a staple of modern comics, thanks to the dark and gritty tone he brings to books like Grendel and Legends of the Dark Knight. In 2005 and 2006, Wagner wrote 2 brilliant miniseries that revived classic Batman tales through the Mad Monk and the Monster Men. Matt Wagner's writing and art delivered on 2 brilliant miniseries, but the creator has always had more of a niche style that has a limited appeal of Scott Snyder or Frank Miller. Even when the 2 series sold initially, they had lackluster numbers and have become increasingly obscure since. Thank you for joining us at Comics Throne. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration of these iconic characters. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on all things comic books. Until next time, embrace the magic of the comic book world.